video, I wanted to talk about the different eating habits and eating culture here in the Philippines compared to the West, to especially Germany, Austria, Europe, but for sure also Australia, America, as far as I know and as far as I speak with other people there. The biggest difference for me is that the people here don't really value or don't really care about if the food is hot or not hot. For example, when you're in an event like a birthday, a christening, a marriage, or whatever, you come to the venue, then the important people like the sponsors or something like that, they have the food already on the table in small bowls and small plates covered with plastic wrap. The regular visitor, regular guests have to go to the buffet on their own. Then they make the program, like in a wedding, the cake cutting, the toasting, the flying of the birds, and many other things. And after some time, 30 minutes, 1 hour, whatever, they open the buffet and then you can start to eat. If you're a special guest, you just open the plastic wrap and can take from the plate whatever you like. But of course, it's not hot anymore when your 30, 40, 50 minutes have passed, and most likely it never has been hot before. And also in the buffet area, there is no heating lamp or some kind of fire or electricity or something to keep the food hot. So it's kind of normal and common that the food is room temperature or not cold. For us, that's often very strange and weird, especially when you have some meat, something with fat or something, and that's all cold. It's all not really hot anymore. So that's one of the very strange things for us as well. When you have a buffet like that, it's very seldom that you have a soup there. So I know it from the restaurant business, since I worked 10 years in a restaurant. Usually you have soup, then you have main course, you have dessert. This is not the case here. Usually you only have the main course. It's basically always rice and some side dishes, most of the time meat dishes like meatballs, blood soup, some kind of chicken, fish, something like that. Also vegetables is very seldom, very rare. Yes, you have chop suey once in a while, there's some other things. But usually when you're a vegetarian here, you're not gonna be happy. Most of the time it's just meat. And as I said, there's basically no soup. It's very seldom that they serve a kind of soup. And as a dessert, they have often so small container where they serve macaroni salad or buko salad, that's coconut salad or something like that. Or many times they have gelée, some kind of jelly, which they eat there in this small plastic container. And that's more or less it. We know it more from our times. Birthday, kid's birthday, you have then the cake cutting, the lighting of the candle, the blowing of the candle. And when I was a kid, I remember we always was excited to cut the cake, to get a piece of the cake, and looking forward to it. But here it's very different. Yes, you have always a cake in the birthday, in the christening, in the wedding. And it's also very important for picture taking because you need to take a picture from the cake cutting, from the blowing of the candle, make a wish and things like that. But after that, the cake usually just stands in a corner and no one looks at it, no one touches it. Many times I have mentioned this, many times I said, what's with the cake? No one touch it, no one eat it. Can I get a piece? Can I get a slice? But usually it's not part of the buffet or it's not in the same area. It's a very different area or in some corner. And so no one really cares about that. It's just important for picture taking, for videos. And that's also kind of different. So when you finally get your food and go to the table, or if you're a special guest, you already sit on the table, the next thing you notice is we in Europe, we have many different utensils to eat. You have a spoon for the soup, you have a fork and knife for the main course, you have small spoon or small fork for coffee and for cake and that kind of things. You don't have that here. You have usually only fork and spoon most of the time. Also just plastic when you're in that kind of events. A knife is very seldom when you're in a steakhouse or something, yes, but it's already not Philippines anymore. That's already Western culture. So usually just fork and spoon. Many times they also say there's a kind of saying, when you eat with your fingers, with your hands, it's more delicious, it's more nice, like KFC, finger licking good and that kind of things. So also when you can eat something with the finger, with the hands, often you do it. Otherwise, you just have a fork and a spoon, and then you can start eating with this kind of utensils. And then the next thing you're gonna notice is that there is mostly bones everywhere, because one of the things that's not common here is, for example, you buy a whole chicken or something, they ask you to slice it, to cut it, and when you agree, when you say, oh yes, please slice this, try and make it smaller, they don't really cut it along the muscles or along the wings to cut it in thighs and bones and breast or something like that. Usually just go with a big chopping knife and just chop it up, going across to it, also in other kinds of meats. And of course, it's happened when you chop the bone, it's splitting, it's a splintering. You have then splintering of bones everywhere, bone structure everywhere. And for us as Western people, it's a very annoying to eat. When every bite you take, everything you put in your mouth, you then have some kind of bone in your mouth or some kind of splinter or something hard or something, and it's not good at all. But the Filipino like it. They like to enjoy it, to take out their bone pieces and kind of things. It's kind of normal here. When you go through all these eating habits and all this eating, and when you're kind of done with your meal, you will recognize in that kind of events, most of the time, or basically always, as soon as the food is done, as soon as the people are eaten, they're going to leave the venue. They're not around anymore. They go home. They go wherever they want. So, in my opinion, most of the people just come to such an event for the food. And you have it plenty of times that if you open the buffet too early, the food too early, then everyone or most of the people, like 2/3 of the people, go home after the food. And like in a wedding, maybe you still have some program, you still have some the first dance, or you have some quiz game, or in the kids party you have some parlor games, some kids games or whatever. Then you will see that most of the people isn't around anymore. So if you want that you still have a full audience, a full lots of people there, then you should make all this program, all these things before you open the buffet, because as soon as the food is done, like I said, most of the people go home. That's kind of the main thing to do there, to be around there. And what's also pretty common here, of course, they colonized, so they have plenty of food here from Spanish influenced food, like adobo, caldereta, something like that. But more influence comes from the Americans, that you have fast food here, burgers here, spaghetti, fast food chains, McDonald's, Burger King, Jollibee is not for sure the biggest one. But what's the problem with this? In my opinion, I'm not against fast food, at least once in a while. But the problem is it's all sweet here. It's kind of a thing here that everything is sweet. You have sweet spaghetti with hot dog. You have every bread is sweet. So they have this kind of banana ketchup, for example, which is sweet. So everything you buy and you have there is sweet. And for me, it's kind of annoying when you want a real bread, when you're used to some kind of real bread or real spaghetti, real Italian spaghetti, and then you buy this from Jollibee or something, and you have this sugar bomb in your mouth, and everything is sweet. For me, too sweet. Every Coke and every juice they have is, for me, too sweet. They always have to pour water. So that's kind of normal here. And I try to adjust it a bit. We have this kind here of fiesta. It's a kind of a town fiesta, town party, town celebration, a bar guy celebration, where every place is cooking. And I'm also participate there. I cook as well. And then I'm cooking my own food. It's mostly European food. I cook all around, English food, Italian food, Arabic food, Thai food, American food, whatever. And then the people is really confused most of the time when they see the food is really hot. There's I've learned it since I was working 10 years as a chef. When you make a buffet, you need to have all kind of things. You need to have one dish for vegetarian, one fish dish, one with pork, one with beef, that kind of thing, that you have option variants like a dessert, a soup, salad, side dish, bread or something. So it's a very different culture here. And so the people is then often very confused when they see my kind of food. That's my first take on the eating habits here. Hopefully you have a bit of a better understanding here. And you have to go with the flow. I know lots of people, especially Americans or foreigner, they don't like it at all. They don't eat any Filipino food. They don't touch any Filipino food. I'm not as strict. I'm usually, I find something, I eat a bit something, but there's plenty of things that I don't like, that I don't want. There's some things it's good, it's acceptable. Most things I don't like. Either it's sweet or it's with bones or it's blood soup or something like that. But in a buffet or something, usually I find one or two things that I say, okay, it's edible for me, even if it's not hot on something. But that's the personal opinion. Of course, you have also a kind of exotic special food here, like balut. That's the baby duck egg, where you have a duck inside, or you have this dinuguan, where is the blood soup. It's made from blood, and many other things. But it's kind of interesting and nice to explore and to see the different food habits compared to your own country.